Lexi, could you tell me what school they're?
So they all work for early childhood education.
Okay, very good.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, very good. Okay, I guess we're going to have our attendance awards. Looks like somebody's moving. I guess it's you. Nice. Doesn't tell me everything. Surprise.
Just a little bit. So good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening. With me, I have Crystal Rojas. She is our counselor on special assignment with a focus on child welfare and attendance. In a few minutes, you'll also get a chance to see your favorite friend visiting from afar, and that's Lacey Collum from School Innovations and Achievement, who supports our A2A program, our attention to attendance. So without further ado, Crystal's going to take over with our recognition.
Good evening, everyone. I'm happy to recognize the following students for submitting a poster design and expressing why attendance matters. When I call your name, if you can please come up so that we can recognize you. Our first student is Ayana Raimel from Discovery Elementary. The following students are from Lancaster Alternative Virtual Academy. Can Savannah Lopez Chontales and Zoe Kramer please come up? Thank you. Sorry, thank you, girls. Can Imani Bragg from Mariposa please come up? Brenda Guevara Sanchez, if you can please come up. She's from Linda Verde. And Stephanie Cruz Albarran from Linda Verde. Thank you, everyone. Lacey?
Good evening. I'm Lacey Collum with the Attention to Attendance program. Thank you, Kim and Crystal, board and cabinet members, and Dr. Marietti, and the community for having me here to present these top performance awards tonight. It has been my pleasure to partner with the district leadership and staff members here as we focus on attendance. The reason this focus is so important is because research shows that student achievement is inextricably linked to attendance. In our partnership together with the Achievement Initiative, we have challenged ourselves to continue the thriving attendance culture here at Lancaster School District because we believe that creating a culture of achievement begins with creating a culture of showing up. The 22-23 school year continued to present challenges in terms of attendance, which can primarily be attributed to habits and attitudes formed since the COVID-19 pandemic began. However, I am very proud to say that the attendance teams and administrators of the sites in Lancaster School District have not only risen to this challenge, but they have also improved chronic absenteeism as a district by 8% over this point in time last year. I am here this evening to help recognize 2 school sites and also outstanding staff members from other sites in the district who have committed to this culture and worked tirelessly to improve attendance and family engagement. But before we begin with the awards, I would like to quickly specifically recognize the work of Lancaster School District's pupil safety and attendance and counselor teams, led by Kim Cochran and Crystal Rojas. Under the leadership of Kim and Crystal, these teams all regularly engage with the Attention to Attendance program to access data, reporting, and student records that help them support the school sites they work with. Their dedicated and consistent efforts have made a very significant impact on the success of the schools we are recognizing tonight and the district as a whole. And now we can begin with the awards. So when I call your school name, please come forward. I have a plaque for you and the schools we would like to award.
So unfortunately, the PowerPoint wasn't rolling earlier, so we'd first like to go through the students' artwork.
Oh, yes, let's do that.
Good.
And so Stephanie from Linda Verde designed that. That's a digital design that she created all on her own. Pretty incredible. Back to you, Lacey.
All right, so we would like to start with the plaque presentation for the 2 schools that we'll be recognizing for their attendance efforts in the 22-23 school year. And then, but wait, there is more. I do have individual certificates of recognition for some outstanding staff members from other school sites as well. But we will start with the plaques. And the first school that we would like to recognize is New Vista Middle School. They reduced, yes, they reduced chronic absenteeism by 13.1%, and they closed almost 100% of their attendance conferences in the A2A program. Congratulations. Awesome work. The second school we would like to recognize is Sierra Elementary School. They reduced chronic absenteeism by 7.8%, with 100% of their attendance conferences addressed in the A2A program. Outstanding. We'll proceed with individual certificates at this time. So when I call your name, if you are present, please come forward. I would like to first recognize from Westwind Elementary, Emily Rodriguez. From the Promise Academy, Valerie Riley. From Sunnydale Elementary School, Kendra Urquiza. And from Sierra Elementary School, Christina Syriza. From Paiute Middle School, Jeffrey Westreicher. From Nancy Corey Elementary School, Angelica Perez Bernal. From Miller Elementary School, Alex Bartlett. From Mariposa Elementary School, Angela Medina Martinez. From Linda Verdi Elementary School, Santiago Meza. From Lincoln Elementary School, April Dominguez. And from Joshua Elementary School, Yesenia Vergara. From Endeavor Elementary School, Pearl Castillo. From Discovery Elementary School, Christine Elias. And from Desert View Elementary School, Michelle Goffigan. From Monte Vista Elementary School, Heather Borunda. And last one, from Jack Northrop Elementary School, Melissa Cowie.
I think it went that way.
Melissa makes her way up. I think we're going to take a quick photo.
Put them on the stairs.
Yes.
Just watch your step. Nobody goes down. Not on my watch. That's hard to explain. You got hurt at a board meeting. It's not their first rodeo.
Hey, Sierra School.
Throw up some rabbit ears now. They'll never know. Tag yourself in that one. Good job, guys. Way to go.
Casey just has a few informational pieces to share, and then we'll wrap this up for PSA.
Okay.
Got the good stuff. Okay, we're seeing some very interesting numbers here. The numbers on this chart are incorrect, so I apologize for that. But the reason that I wanted to show this to you today is because if we focus on chronic absenteeism on the far right-hand side, if we take our focus away from those interesting, very long decimal numbers, the important thing that we're seeing here is that reduction in chronic absenteeism over this point in time last school year. You will notice for comparison, if you look at that dark blue bar representing the 1920 school year, that's where we were for chronic absenteeism before the pandemic began. So we've still got some work to do. We're not out of the woods yet in terms of attendance, but what we're here to celebrate tonight is the amazing efforts that all of the sites have put in this school year to show improvement and that we are moving in the right direction. So I know we're going to keep this momentum moving forward into next school year. I'm excited to be a part of that journey, to partner with you as well with the Attention to Attendance program. And hopefully next school year, we'll continue to see even more improvement. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm going to say we could give everybody a break to leave, but it looks like they already left, so I think we're good to go. There's a few that want to leave. You go ahead. If you want to go get, I'd say ice cream, but maybe it's hot chocolate tonight. I'm not sure. Welcome to spring in Lancaster. Okay, I guess we'll carry on with our item number 10, our informational items, enrollment report. I guess, Mr. Conte, you're on that tonight.
Yes, I'm happy to pinch hit for Rebecca this evening. Enrollment as of May 1st, K-8, 14,073, ECE, 725, for a total number of students at 14,798. That represents a growth of 7 students from our last board meeting and a decline of 41 students from the same time last year. This also represents a total of 481 foster students and 1,033 homeless students in the Lancaster School District. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, do we have any other enrollment or informational items or?
No other informational items.
Okay, I guess we'll move on to curriculum highlights. I'm sure Westwind is excited to show us their Code to Future Success by Westwind Computer Science Magnet School. Come on down. You got a whole, looks like you got the rest of the room. Okay, nice.
Good evening. I am Dawn Dube. I'm the assistant principal at Westwind, and I want to thank you for the invitation for us to present Westwind's curriculum highlights this evening. I do want to introduce this wonderful crew that I brought along with me. This is Michelle White, principal, Westwind. We have Christy Hazard, our instructional coach. Jenny Kuo is our district coach for tech. We have Miss Ewan Park, third grade teacher. And then we have some students. I'll introduce you last. We've got third grader. We've got Remington here. And we've got our Peyton is a fifth grader. And then we have Alec Richmond, this guy's son, Mr. Richmond, who's our fifth grade teacher at Westwind. And they are going to present our showcase tonight. So thank you.
Good evening. It's our pleasure to be here with you this evening with some very important guests and to share with you our glimpse into our Code of the Future program, which is part of our curriculum at Westwind. Each and every day, we pride ourselves in promoting academic excellence, well-rounded and happy students, and a love of computer science. We are as proud of our students as you will be at the end of our presentation, and we are excited for them to share with you what they have done this year to learn all about computer science. We hope you enjoy the presentation this evening and see what we see, our future engineers, coders, and computer science leaders.
Hey, good evening. My name is Jenny. I joined the district EdTech team in late November as the coding coach for Lancaster School District, the 2 computer science magnet schools, Westwind and Mariposa, and supporting students to master more complex coding skills and watching them progress to become independent coders at each grade level have been so exciting. It's quite impressive that all students at Westwind from UTK all the way to 5th grade learn coding concepts and computer science language. We want to share with you tonight some wonderful Code to the Future innovative projects done by the students at Westwind. I'm going to have you
And we're going to start with each year they have 3 cycles. It's kind of like the trimester. The first cycle are the very beginning part where we're introducing them to basic coding. And here I'm bringing a project done by every grade level. The first one I want to share is my Madeline, who is Mrs. Romero's first grade student. She did some coding. If you can see, we just kind of screenshot some of the codes they had to do in a software called Scratch. And in here, these codes will be shown in the project that you're about to see. So Madeline's project, please.
Could be a fact,
She was very proud of her project.
unless you're a rabbit.
Yes. And the second one I want to show you is from a second grade class. Oh, here, the student wrote a code for different sprites where they have to learn to program for the arrow keys to control the main sprite to move through a maze without touching the sides. So they're learning how using sprite and controlling keys. It's really cool because they all have different, they also designed the maze. So everyone has a different maze and a different coding program. Thank you, Billy.
Driving that semi.
And the next one is this cycle. We're not done. We're not quite done with the cycle yet, but UTK is really proud to show what they have accomplished already. So her code, she was collecting data and being able to tell facts about what she learned in the classroom. Last but not least, our 4th graders are using Microsoft Make Code software and making codes to create different items. They build a wall, they build different things, but right now the student wanted to show you how he built a wall, and he's able to demonstrate that in Minecraft. So the students are learning instead of playing in Minecraft and building it with the character, they've learned to write the code for building a wall and having an agent build it through coding. And without further ado, we start with our third grade. So in cycle 2, they did Lego robotics, and the students at Westwind did an amazing job. And with third grade, they used, I'm going to let them speak. Have Remington here. Spark.
All right. Hello, my name is Yoon Park, and I'm a third grade teacher at Westwind Computer Science Magnet School. I came to Westwind Computer Science Magnet School about 4 years ago, and when I first heard Computer Science Magnet School, I don't know if I can do this. It's going to be very challenging. I've got to learn a lot of computer skills and coding. But guess what? I fell in love with the computer science with my students as we were learning together. At Westwind Computer Science Magnet School, we teach our students to engage in learning computer and engineering related subjects through the use of simple programming starting in UTK. Our students learn computer science and engineering through their projects. They explore, create, and share their scientific discoveries as they build, program, and modify their project. They brainstorm, they create a story using story sequencing, and they use the lines of sequence, and they learn to build the blocks of algorithm to write the code sequences in a software program called We Do 2.0. They use their critical thinking and problem-solving skills as they collaborate and work together. They deeply engage in science, engineering, technology, and coding, sparking a love for experimentation and investigation. Here is my Remington. Here we go.
Good evening. The software program we use for this cycle is Redo 2.0. We used our writing skills and we learned in ELA about story sequence and put it into code. A robotic story has beginning, middle, and end. Then the software communicates with the hardware, which is the Lego robot. This computer science teaches us how to write code sequence is in a software program. So it tells the hardware to carry out the mission, job, or task.
Oh, there you go. Nice. Good job. Gotta finish his job.
The software we coded in is called Lego Spike. The hardware is our Lego robot. We want the robot to perform a task, but it only communicates with the software. So, we programmed an algorithm with an instructional code for the robot to travel a route to the southern, middle, and New England colonies and give facts about each colonial region.
Got a smiley face on the top. See it? Talks. Good job.
Great.
Job.
We hope you enjoyed the presentation. The kids have worked so hard this year from UTK all the way through 5th grade, and to watch them code and practice in their classrooms using curriculum has been an awesome experience. So thank you for your time. And then just on a personal note, Jenny joined us in November, and she has been an absolute joy to work with, and to see her excitement and her energy in the classroom, supporting the classes and the teachers, has been very much appreciated. So thank you very much. And to our 3 students who joined us today, you are really brave, because it's not easy to get up in front of 50 people. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Can I get our 3 students back up on the stage? They can put their laptops down and the robots. I need them up front here. I got to show them something. Okay, we've had some fun tonight. All right, now we got to do the unfun stuff. Wait a minute. No, we don't. We're going to go on to next. We're going to have our charter school updates with Life Source International. Come on down. You guys got a team too. All right. You guys didn't bring any robots, did you? Darn it. Yeah, it's hard. It's tough. I didn't put the meeting together, so sorry.
Good evening, Lancaster Board of Trustees, Superintendent Dr. Marietti, and community members. My name is Nicole Hackett, and I proudly serve as principal of Life Source International Charter School. With me this evening is Assistant Principal Tamisha Warner and Kate Ng, our school accountant. We would like to acknowledge our board members, Joseph Lang, Jeffrey Patterson, Ronald Willis, and our CEO and founder, who was not able to attend here this evening, but that would be Dr.
Deborah Culpepper Ofori. We thank you for the opportunity to provide you tonight with information about LifeSource International Charter School's progress thus far this school year. In this presentation, we will provide you with updates on our academic progress since last year's presentation. We will review dashboard data, CAF scores, benchmark assessment data, and WASC accreditation award. The dashboard data reflects the 2021-22 school year's data, not the 2020-21 data as titled here. There wasn't data from that particular school year on dashboard. But what you can see before you is that our students scored 61.1 points below standard in English language arts and 86.1 points below standard in math. These scores are comparable to that of Lancaster Elementary Schools, but it's also an area that we continue to target as we move our students to higher levels of proficiency. If we look a little bit closer at our CAS scores, there's a comparison between 2021 and the 2021-22 school years. And the comparison there reveals that our students made 4% growth in ELA and 1% growth in math. Many other districts noticed a drop following the pandemic in student progress, whereas at LifeSource, we noticed that students maintained or showed some growth in both areas. As for our diagnostic assessment benchmarks, this is Edmentum's Exact Path diagnostic assessment, and we continue to engage progress of monitoring the students through the use of the Exact Path diagnostics, which is administered in the fall, winter, and spring to measure student growth over time. Our goal is to increase the number of students who are scoring in the 75th through 99th percentile region. And students are making positive progress in this direction, as noted in this slide.
Our current enrollment is 252 students. As many districts and charter schools are facing declining enrollment, we are too noticing similar trends. Some of this is attributed to the pandemic. Others are attributed to the life circumstances of families. Along with enrollment data trends, we also are pushing into addressing chronic absenteeism, especially with our identified groups. We are working to address chronic absenteeism through outreaching to our families, learning, leaning into the needs of the students while they are on campus, and creating opportunities to award student growth in areas of attendance. Currently, our average daily attendance rate is 89.48%. Currently, this school year, we have had 43 incidents that required a suspension. We are working hard to curb this trend. We are working hard to be proactive and address issues when they happen on our campus in a restorative manner. We engage our students in community building circles and use it as a problem-solving tool. Part of our restorative practices at LSICS includes the Peace Corner, a structure and calming environment to help students recognize their feelings and practice self-regulation strategies, and refocus process, an activity that allows students to reflect on their choices, explain their perspectives, and identify a better choice for the future. This year, we engaged in the Williams review process for both our materials sufficiency and facilities. It was determined by LACO that LSICS has positive material sufficiency and was issued a good rating for facilities. In addition, this year, we went through a full 3-day WASC accreditation process, and we were awarded a 6-year accreditation as a result of the extensive visit and review of LSICS's instructional program. I will now pass over to Kate Ing for our second interim financial report.
Thank you so much for having me to present the financials for LifeSource International. Let's jump into the numbers. So in terms of, so sorry, I'll lean in a little bit more to that. So in terms of the school's cash position, they're in a very solid position closing out the month of January. And just to recap, these are the second interim financials. So they reflect actuals through January, so more than half of the year, but this is a forecast for the full year. And in terms of the cash position, the school closed the month of January with $840K. So just about 2 months of cash on hand, which is what we recommend for a school because of the lag in the revenues that the school is going to be able to recognize. In terms of projected revenue, we are expecting the school to close FY23 with $10.8 million. So substantially up against last year, and we'll go into why that is in just a little bit. But over on expenses, that's against expenses of $8 million for the year, leaving a surplus of $2.8 million. In terms of attendance, Mrs. Warner and some others have talked about the ADA and attendance challenges that we've seen across classroom-based schools in California, with a little bit of a pullback as we come back from the pandemic. So we had originally projected ADA for the year at 361, so at pre-pandemic levels. P1 ADA was 250, and we've seen a little bit of a pullback since then, with P2 ADA at 241. And that would have a substantial impact on revenue for the school, but we'll talk about why we're expecting revenue to actually pull up versus last year. So in terms of overall revenue, we're expecting year over year to be up $3.6 million. And this is being driven by a couple of things. So we have 2 new grants for the school, both that are childcare based. And these are robust funding. These are programs that have already existed, but are being more robustly funded in an effort to provide quality childcare education within the state of California. The first grant is CCTR, which is a childcare and development grant that we anticipate bringing in $2.5 million in funding. And then the second program is CSPP, which is expected to bring in another $1.8 million. So these have helped to more than offset the $650K that we had expected to be pulled out of the school's revenue and bring the school up versus last year. And that is up against expenses of $8 million, just over $8 million. Oh. That brings us up against expenses of nearly $8 million. That's also a pretty substantial increase, but that is in an effort to support the childcare programs. So that's up $2.1 million versus last year, and mainly in the sub-agreement category. And that brings us to a year-end surplus, an anticipated surplus of $2.8 million for the school. So adding substantially to the school's overall fund balance, which we expect to close at $4.7 million for the year. So very strong numbers, thanks to the injection of those childcare funds for the school. And just to revisit the cash position for the school, again, we closed the month of January with $840K. And since then, we've added to that cash balance and just closed the last week with $2.1 million in cash for the school. And we plan to continue to add to the cash balance throughout the course of the year and closing out the year with about $2.4 million in cash. So very strong numbers for LifeSource, and with that injection of funds to help the youngest members of the community. Any questions?
I see the 15% reserve. Is that required by the state for you?
It's not required by the state, but it is what we recommend seeing, and we typically have a 5% reserve from the state. So we're well above that.
You're well
requirement.
above. Okay, great, thanks.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you guys for your presentation. Good luck to you. Thank you. Okay, I guess we're going to move up to iLead. Come on down.
Good evening, board and Dr. Moretti. Thank you for having us here tonight. I'm Amanda Fisher. I'm the CEO of iLead California, who is the support provider for iLead Lancaster.
I'm Nicole Kent, the school director at iLead Lancaster.
And I wish I'd bought robots and I could dance or something, do really fun for you, but we'll just do a quick overview of who we are. Right? You cannot beat kids and do the fun stuff of what we're doing with our kids. So the first slide, do you have the clicker? Oh, we do. So our learner retention rates, we haven't seen a significant decline in our learner retention. We're right around 769 students. This was as of last week. We had 76.5%. We've retained them. And with our facilitator retention, we had 86%. So we continue to grow. Our learner demographics, we have 30.9% of our students are Black, 43.9% are Hispanic, 13.1% are white, and 10.8% are two or more races, very similar to the district makeup. Our English learners are staying relatively the same year after year. Our special education population, even though it looks like a huge increase, it's really only about 5 kids, so it's staying right in the same range. Our suspension rate, again, coming back from COVID, this is an area that we have 4.8% of our kids were suspended. So it's an area of definite focus for you. Nicole's going to talk about, although we focus tremendously on academics, we really had learned that we have to address the social emotional piece first in all of the things we've done. Our socioeconomically disadvantaged is at 75% for maintaining. Our budget, we currently, our revenue is $12.68 million, with 8.1 coming from LCFF, 2.8 coming from state funds, federal funds being about 1.6, and then local revenue, $40,000. These are our 3 LCAP goals and how we are using the money from LCFF in the different areas. Our LCAP is not, we're maintaining those 3 goals. Next year is the year we get to revise and revamp. And finally, this is our multi-year projection. So we currently, our revenue is 12.6, our expenses are 12.2, our net income is 429,000. You can see we maintained enrollment and ADA and our projections being very conservative for the years out for 23, 24, and 24, 25. Lancaster has a very, very healthy fund balance. So we maintain just what we have to because we have a lot of money in reserve. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Nicole to talk about, oh, sorry, one more. These are all the federal pots of money. So we have ESSER 1 and ESSER 2 and ESSER 3 and ELOG and IPI. And so this is how much we're getting in each of those pots of money and how we're using them. And now your turn.
This year we took a deep dive into data. We looked at how our kids were doing social-emotionally, we looked at how our kids were doing academically, and then we developed a bunch of programs and plans surrounding all those things. So looking at the academic part, we started an intervention program 3 years ago, and we went ahead and revamped it this year and included some different, we changed our curriculum. We added curriculum this year. We started using Bridges and CPM, and then we added Delta Math for the middle school. We have instructional coaches for math and also tutors for math. So we're able to do push-in support in the classroom with smaller groups, and we're also able to do after-school tutoring to support that. We're doing the same sort of intervention with ELA, and we're using Dreambox. And we have also the literacy coaches. We're doing a lot of professional development around writing and reading, and again, with the after-school tutoring. And so all the things that we put in, we took our fall map test scores and then our spring map, and we were able to see growth in every grade level. And every grade level except for one exceeded the national norms. And so this data, going through this data and then drilling down to the kids that we worked with intervention, about 80 to 96, 92% of the kids that were participating in the intervention programs, their scores increased. So it looks like what we're doing seems to be working in the same direction. In addition to academics, we focus a lot on social emotional. So when we're doing our what we call our report cards, ROPs, at the end of the year, we start looking at their social emotional development as well. And we track that data as well to see how they're growing in those areas. And then like I said, with our successes, so the intervention program, like the data showed that was a success, but we also wanted to do some things around, like I said, social emotional. So we have 2 counselors, we have a social worker, and we also have intervention groups for social emotional needs to do circles and things like that. And we're finding that as the kids matriculate into higher grades and they're with us longer, they're able to kind of recognize when they need to downregulate. They're able to recognize when they have issues that they need to deal with, and they're able to come together and do restorative circles and bring themselves together on their own. And adding the counselors has really helped us with being able to support the kids on different levels. We're providing them with outside resources. We're providing them with resources in our school. We partner with some community counseling services to help support the learners in school, because we realized when they were coming back from COVID, there were so many different elements that we weren't ready to prepare for. So what we did was we sought out people with experience to be able to support our kids, and we're seeing a decrease in suspensions this year as what we had last year because of this work that we're doing. We have increased our family engagement. So we have parents, we have way more family coming on campus. We have activities for families to do. For example, every Friday night for the next 7 weeks, our families come on campus and learn how to salsa dance. And we're just doing different things to kind of bring the community into, because when the community is involved in school, then typically the learners do a little bit better. So that's a little bit of our successes. We also included a ton of enrichment programs now. So we've got clubs happening 5 days a week after school, from STEM to drama to dance to a robotics club to sports. In fact, one of our dance clubs set out to do a battle against one of your schools. We had to postpone it, but it's happening in a couple of weeks.
Okay.
It's happening in a couple of weeks, but it's really cool to just kind of really engage the community and be a part of our school as well as a part of your school. We do, as you know, we're a project-based learning school, so each grade is focusing on projects at different levels, and so just a couple to highlight. We do service projects every year. We run a food pantry on our campus for our families that are in need. We have a kindness project, so they do work in the community. They do work around our school. They clean up for each other. They support new learners when they come together. Kids participate in the glider project every year, where they go and they learn how to fly a glider, and they go out and actually fly the glider. Dream Up to Space, one of our groups actually this year was selected to take an experiment, and what happens is this experiment they put into sort of like a test tube, and then that test tube was selected by NASA and it's sent up to the International Space Station. So they were selected to do that. So in December of next year, they'll go to NASA and see it take off. And then we're also working on our Leader in Me Lighthouse status. We're a year away from becoming a 7 Habits Leader in Me school. Are there any questions?
Questions? Wayne?
I do have a question.
Sure.
Was it your school that supplied the jersey patches for the Little League baseball team?
No, that wasn't our school.
Wasn't? I know it's an iLead. Okay. And I've seen a presentation very similar to this just recently at the high school district. And I hope that we all don't lose ADA because of that.
Mr. Teepee?
I had a question on got a kind of score or report for like kindness, generosity. How is that? Is that from surveys or how is that?
So the learners survey themselves and the facilitators survey the learners. So they do it in the beginning of the year, they survey where they are, then they set some goals, and then at the end of the year, they reevaluate themselves, and then they, the facilitators reevaluate them.
Have like a select number of questions to guide that thinking as they're rated.
And that's called the learner survey?
Yes, we use Panorama Survey, and it's supported through Panorama, the questions that are asked.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you guys for coming. Appreciate it. Good presentation. Okay, I guess we'll move on to item 13. We have the individual action items business. We have approval of end of year activity for Amargosa Creek Middle School. Anybody want a motion?
Motion.
Moved to Mrs. Grooms.
Second.
Second to Mr. Teepee. Questions, concerns, clarifications?
If I'm not mistaken, this is for food truck at Amargosa? No?
I believe it's a celebration, similar to like a carnival, as a reward for the end of the year.
Part of it does include is a food truck and then two gaming trucks, which are very
game.
popular.
Yeah. And two.
All right. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 4-1. One nay. I have item B, approval of agreement for services for Humberto's Catering for open house and 8th grade promotion at New Vista Middle School. Anyone want a motion? Ready? Moved by Mr. Teepee.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Grooms. Questions, concerns, clarifications?
I have a question. Are child nutrition services asked to bid on any of these food items?
Typically, when it's outside of the school day, I believe it's 30 minutes after school, it doesn't fall under our child nutrition services, but I'll let Dr. Freeze refer to that.
This is an evening event, and we've utilized food trucks in the past, and schools like the flexibility that comes along with that, and so they're following a pattern that we've used in the past.
I didn't know if at one time we had our child nutrition services it was a requirement to ask them if they wanted to bid on any of these food service type items.
In my experience, when they're after school, in the evenings, it's typically not feasible to have our child nutrition services staff to do that work. But
Anything else? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 4-1. Okay, we have item 14, individual action items, human resources. We have approval of Director of Certificated Personnel.
Todd Coleman.
All right, don't get too excited yet. That's just a name. We got to vote and hang on, hold on the fanfare, just in case this could go bad real fast, Todd. Hold on. Okay, I need a motion. Moved by Mr. Nguyen, and I think, did you? Pamela. All right, good, Pamela. Seconded by Pamela Starlson. Okay, anybody want questions, concerns, clarifications? Mr. Conti?
I'd love to speak about Todd. For
Awesome, let's do that.
how much time do we have?
Much as you need, as long as it's not more than 5 minutes.
Todd has served the Lancaster School District for 27 years. He's served as a teacher for 12 years and has taught grades 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Couldn't keep a job, could you, Todd? Todd's been an assistant principal at Endeavor, Paiute, and Amargosa Creek. He's been a principal at Amargosa Creek and Endeavor. He is uniquely qualified in that he has served as both elementary and middle school teacher and administrator. Todd's participated in am I doing something wrong with the microphone?
We can hear you.
Okay, great. He has served as a mentor for the Clear Administrative Credential Program. He has attended the AXA Personnel Academy. He's attended the SEAC Negotiator Certificate Program. He has also recently, as far as like a week and a half or so ago, was recognized as the Region 15 AXA Principal of the Year. And he's also served as on the negotiating team for the Lancaster School District. Pretty darn qualified.
Forgot to say good guy.
Well, I'd like to say a little bit more after we vote for him.
Okay, well, let's see how that goes. Okay. All right. I guess hearing that, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Congratulations.
Todd, I know your family is here, and I know the family man that you are, and I know you want to introduce them. All right. Todd, I just want to add my congratulations and give you fair warning. Mike has indicated that he's going to stay in his current office, which means you'll be moving into mine. But it's not just mine. I want to remind you the heritage of that office. It was once inhabited by Ed Goodwin, Howard Sundberg, Jim Sheddig, and me. We're expecting a lot from you, young man. Congratulations, Todd.
Thank you. All right. Okay, we have approval of coordinator of multilingual learning programs. Multilingual. Multilingual. You should get up at 3 a.m. and try it.
Multilingual.
Sorry.
Forget it.
Multilingual.
Any language learning programs. Yeah, I like it. Mr. Conti.
Cindy Queen knows how to say that word.
Okay. Should you talk first or should we motion in second? What do? We motion in second, don't we? Yeah, I'm all screwed up.
Motion.
All right, we got a move by Diane. Seconded by I'll go with Greg TV. Okay. All right, Mr. Conti.
So Cindy has served in education for 21 years, 12 years as a classroom teacher. She has extensive ELL experience. She's served as a principal in 2 districts for 5 years, 4 years as an assistant principal at the elementary and middle school level. She worked in the Lancaster School District for 6 years and then went to Vista, which sounds like a wonderful place to be, but it's not as good as Lancaster. So I can't tell you how happy I was to see her application and correcting the error of her ways.
Okay, hearing that, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Cindy. I know you've got some folks you want to introduce as well. No, it wasn't a reference. I was publicly chastising you.
Pretty close, yeah.
Yeah, I've been to Vista. I live there. I understand.
Congratulations.
Is Cindy is your very best friend coming back to Lancaster High? Is your very best friend coming back to Lancaster High?
Yeah, we don't have as much pull with that. Well, we talk to people. Okay, we have item C, approval of principal.
Elizabeth Lobos.
Okay, do we have a motion? Moved by Mr. Teepee, seconded by Mr. Nguyen. Okay, back to you.
So Elizabeth has worked in the Lancaster School District for the past 10 years. She's taught grades 1, 4, 5, and 6. She's served as an assistant principal for the past 5 years at Linda Verde, Miller, and Discovery. Last 2 years at Discovery. She grew up in the Antelope Valley. She's fluent in Spanish, which makes her even better at serving the population at Discovery. And she is that close to receiving her doctorate from USC.
All right. Better hurry up and take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. And some out there. Okay, congratulations. Yeah, I never had the audience vote before. That's really good. Go ahead.
Elizabeth, do you have anybody you want to introduce this evening?
Go ahead. Yeah, I'm very excited. All right, well, thank you.
So Elizabeth, I'm just going to remind you, you two are stepping into the office of some pretty famous folk. So I hope I'm not missing anybody, but over the years, it's been inhabited by Dr. Andy Glatfelter, Kathy Lee, Cindy Queen, Leslie Ruvalcaba, and now you. Congratulations.
Looks like she's got a pretty good fan base. I think she'll be all right. All right. Yep. All right. At this point is my favorite part, the addressing the board part. I'm going to just have one of these days. I'm going to have my kids read this and just bring the tape recorder, but I never think of it in time. Individuals who wish to address the board may complete a speaker card and present it to any supporting documents to the deputy superintendent or other district official prior to the start of the meeting. Personal information such as student/parent/guardian's names, address, phone number, date of birth, email address, or other directory information as defined in Education Code 49061 may be excluded from the minutes of the meeting by submitting written requests to the superintendent. Board president shall recognize individuals who wish to speak. Individuals wishing to present testimony to the board concerning specific items on the agenda may do so once that item has been moved, seconded, and is on the floor for discussion. Time limits of 3 minutes per person and 20 minutes per item shall be allowed. Board members may ask questions for clarification purposes. However, no action may be taken and no discussion may take place on an item not on the posted agenda. Comments from PTA? Make a run for it. It's a good time. CSEA, and TAL. All right. Did I catch anybody off guard? Okay. Comments from the audience.
Have our first speaker, Nina Cornell.
Repeat the name, I'm sorry.
Welcome.
Comments, speaker card was filled out by Nina Coronel.
Welcome, Nina.
Thank you. Good evening, all. Actually, my whole name is Ninoska Cornell, but there's a lot of problems pronouncing. But you can call me Nina. Good evening to all. I'm here to speak regarding the IEP. I want to talk a little about what it's because I think we have forgot what it's an IEP in the district. So we know that it's a legal document under the state law, that it's developed for each public school for each child in the United States who needs special education. Okay, we know that it describes all the needs of each student. We know that it's clearly that an IEP is very important because it's what the student needs, it's what they need to follow the service, and what's in the IEP. And I'm going to get to the point. This is what parents we are going through right now with the schools in the district. There's the service and the IEPs are not being rendered. This needs to be addressed as soon as possible. I've been doing this my son has been in a special education department for almost 2 years, back and forth, talking to the director, back and forth, everything, talking to the principal. Nothing gets done. The service, they're not being rendered. It's what do you do when you go to a conference in Utah and you ask the teacher, what's the goals? How is everything doing? She's like, what do you mean? We don't do this here in Lancaster. And I said, so the goals that we came from LAUSD, you guys don't work on them? She says, no. So you know what she gave me? She gave me just a paper saying that she took a test of reading for him. And I said, are you kidding me? This is where our taxes are going to. This is where we are paying for this type of education. Do you want to see? I brought everything so you guys can see that I'm not lying. This is what special education has. Look it's torn from a notebook. My son doesn't even know how to spell his name. It's a shame.
1 minute.
This is so sad for a teacher to do this. Look. I asked the principal, you guys don't have a printer? I have done the Williams complaint. Nobody has done nothing about this. And it's so sad because my son is not the only way. We haven't had a teacher. My son has not had a teacher for 7 months. He's been struggling, all his peers, everybody. There's crying, there's people breaking.
30 seconds.
The classroom and everything, that principal has done nothing about it. Now they're thrown in a second grade with a second grade teacher with special needs that are extremely disabilities, when he's supposed to be with other peers at their modern to modern class, a day class. He hadn't had a teacher for 7 months. Substitute, they've been thrown in there that don't have no experience with this type of kids. He had been.
Your time has expired.
Where he got lost around the school. He got lost. They couldn't find him. I have the email. I have the voicemail of them calling me that they couldn't find him. I talked to the principal. She says she doesn't have no worries.
Your time has expired.
Nina, do you have a copy of that paper that you can leave?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just you can leave it with the superintendent if you'd like, and we can follow up with that. Thank you so much for coming in. And they have your contact information if they need to get hold of you, correct? Okay, thank you so much for coming in. Okay, I guess we're good. Any more public?
Yes, we have our next speaker is Betsy Haslett.
Betsy?
Good evening, board. Thank you for taking me. I've been using gas station at 25th Street West and Avenue J, the Circle K mobile gas station. I started going there a while back, but in December it started. I went in there one afternoon, Shortly after 3 p.m., there were Amargosa Creek Middle School students skateboarding in the gasoline aisles. The store was closed. There was a sign temporarily closed. It was probably closed for over half an hour. I talked to the manager. He said corporate office told him to close the store. When I got home later, I called both Amargosa and left a message because it was closed, and also the district office, leaving messages. And I've been back several times and I forget. It's like, oh no, I'm going at the wrong time. I need to get gas. I'm over there in that part of town. They've got good prices. And the store has been closed more than one occasion, often. The students at one day accosted one of the male employees. I think that'd be pretty scary for a male adult to be accosted by junior high students. They are learning to be juvenile delinquents. They're loitering. It's unsafe skateboarding in the gas lines, in the aisles. They said some of the other students went over to other stores and were causing them problems. I understand years ago that there was loco parentis, where the schools were responsible from the moment the child walked out of the house in the morning to when they returned in the afternoon. Why is this juvenile delinquency occurring in a business, causing it to close down? Customers come in upset they cannot get into the store. They're costing adult employees. This is encouraging
1 minute.
encouraging juvenile delinquency. I asked them about it, and they said the school police, wherever they were talking about, were not helpful at all. With these reports of these millions and millions of dollars within this Lancaster system, why isn't somebody staying after school to provide the playground at the school facility, not only for the safety of the students, but for the safety of everybody else, the customers and the businesses? Why don't they reimburse these schools, the businesses, some of the money they've lost because they've had to close? I went there during the spring break and I go, oh no, it's the wrong time. And I went to the store and this lady says, oh, it's spring break. I'm just going, good for them. They don't have to deal with
10
these
seconds.
juvenile delinquents. And we've been hearing about all these other successes. Why don't some of these men go over to the place and say, you're no longer allowed to be here, and apologize to the business?
Your time has expired.
Thank you.
Thank you, Betsy. I appreciate that. Anybody else?
That's all the speakers for this evening.
All right, thank you. I guess we'll move on to item number 16. We have consent agenda item, superintendent items 16A through 16P. It's moved by Mr. Teepee, second by Mr. Nguyen. Questions, concerns, clarifications, shout outs? Being none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Hey, item 17, consent agenda items, business items 17A through 17M. Motion by Mr. Nguyen,
Second.
second by Mrs. Grooms. Questions, concerns, clarifications?
I was curious about item D, the independent contract for fiscal advisory services.
Thank you for your question. Maria Alatorre is our first year in her as a fiscal director. And one of the things that we've learned through the process of also contracting with school services of California is that there's many different ways to perform the multitude of the functions that we do in business services. No one way is the correct way to do it. And it's valuable that Isabel have an exposure to other ways to do things within the budgetary system. She had a good mentor in Ruby and Brenda Yardine, who was the fiscal director for the high school district for many years in Palmdale School District, and is highly regarded. She's a retiree now, but she does consult. Isabel requested some additional oversight and somebody to kind of look over her shoulder to confirm some of the things that she was doing. I shared the strategy with Dr. Marietti, and he embraced the idea that it's always good to have a mentor, especially in the first year. And so having worked with Brenda for a number of years, I'm confident in her ability to provide guidance to Isabel. And I think it's going to be a good way to finish out her first year.
All right.
Sounds good.
Any other questions? Motion was by Dwayne and seconded by, and Diane, seconded by Dan. I can't read my own writing, sorry. Okay, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Okay, item number 18. Consent agenda items, educational services, items 18A through 18G. Moved by Mr. Teepee, second by Mrs. Starlson. Questions, concerns, clarifications? All right, seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. We have item 19, consent agenda items, human resource services, items 19A through 19E. Anybody want a motion?
Motion?
Motion by Diane Grooms. Second by Mr. Teepee.
I'd like to ask that item D be pulled from the from number 19 and brought back up and at the next meeting.
So we want to pull item D for further discussion to the next meeting. Okay, do we need to make a motion on that? Pull it? Do we have a second? Okay, so we have a motion by Dwayne and a second by Pamela to pull item D for discussion for a following meeting. All in favor for that? Opposed? Motion passes 5-0 to pull that for a following meeting. We also have the motion on the table for the remaining A through E items. Any more questions or concerns on any of those? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. You guys are clear on what to do with that one? Just going to bring it for the next one.
Be back next time, and
Beautiful.
we'll have some discussions in between.
Very good. Thank you. Item 20, we have consent agenda items, innovations and technology services, items 20A through 20C. Moved by Mr. Teepee.
Second.
Second by Mr. Nguyen. Questions, concerns, shout outs, clarifications? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Okay, legislative and policy discussion. Anybody?
There's none.
Okay. Well, there is some, but we'll be talking about it later. Just for my other job, I look at stuff for CSBA, and it seems like California is just getting a little bit out of hand for some of the student stuff. Okay, so we have comments from the board and the superintendent. I guess we'll start with Ms. Starlson today. Sorry, this mic is hot.
Well, I really enjoyed the essay by Axel Costa, and I was really happy to hear how impressed he was with his teacher, Miss Hill. I think that was really a version of capturing the kid's heart that we talk about all the time. I also often am very proud of the continuous positive energy and commitment and dedication that we get from our family ambassadors. Marie Flantes again proved that this is an excellent program that we have, and brought even more excitement about that particular group. I think it was a great job of the acknowledgement from our early learning teachers, Tanisha, Donna, Tracy, Isabel, and Margie. I think they did a really good job as well. Um, Congratulations to all of our new admin and, promotions and things like that that took place this evening. Um, Great job by Discovery being recognized by our parents for everything that they are also doing for the students. Also really enjoyed the robotics. I had an opportunity to go to West Wind um, maybe a couple months ago and at a presentation that they had on their coding program. And so if you ever get an opportunity to get out, I think it's a really, really good experience. And that's really all I got.
Thank you. Okay, we'll go with, we'll do the girls first. Mrs. Grooms.
I've been called a girl in a while. Okay, I want to personally congratulate Todd Coleman,
It's a good thing.
Cindy Queen, and Elizabeth Lobos for their leadership, stepping up for these important leadership roles. Very well earned and very excited for it. And there were a lot of folks here that were giving examples of such good work here in our district. The kids, watching the kids, it shows how much work is being done in the schools. And I like the continuity that you talked about, Lexi, of who's moved into the Discovery Principal office over the years. And it's been wonderful to watch and see the growth in the students and their opportunities through all of this. So thank you all for that. But I was very pleased with the presentations from the two charter schools, the updates there, because it was more data driven and it was more comparable to what we were dealing with here in Lancaster. And it wasn't just hearts and flowers like previous presentations might have been. It was really looking at the reality of their students, of what they've suffered from COVID, and the behaviors that are a kid's way to act out and tell you that something's wrong. So I appreciate their embracing that as well as ours. Lynn Sheddig is smiling in heaven today because that was a beautiful essay. And it really said what, if I were a teacher, I'd like that said about me. And that young man did a wonderful, wonderful job. I think that's about it. I'll leave the rest for other folks.
Okay. Mr. Wynn. What are the boys next?
I'll just start off first with Mrs. Hill, the teacher that Axel spoke about. What a nice tribute he made to her, and it's very simply a matter that teachers in the Antelope Valley, especially at the Lancaster School District, are just fantastic. We should have essay winners for anybody who writes nice things about them because they are fantastic. And you can see by Lexi's choice of Todd Coleman and Cindy Queen and Elizabeth Lobos that 27 years in the district, 21 years, and 10 years. These are people that have given a lot of time to our students, and we should be very, very proud of them and for their promotion. Our attendance is glad to see that it increased by 7 since the last board meeting, only down 41 from a year ago. And this is during the toughest times, the spring, when people are moving to different locations, different cities, different areas. To the ACES Award, the 3 from Discovery, the 5 from Early Childhood. we are doing great. For the art winners at Discovery and Lava and Mariposa and Linda Verde, and the 2 schools, New Vista And Sierra, great job on attendance. Those are the kind of things we like to see. Finally, that little boy who gave the presentation from Westwood. He's my grandson, so it's okay.
In case you didn't know.
The code of the future, I think if we all look at it, what they do and where they take it, fantastic. I see Andy Glatfeller out here, and I know that they take this robotics, they take it seriously. You
Okay,
had
so-
3 teams go to the state final, and Code of the Future is something that, well, I didn't have it. I don't even think they knew what code was, but it was, these kids are learning and they're great at their jobs. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Teepee.
Thank you. Great meeting. It was awesome to see the whole building packed out. Audience was cheering, even voting it sometimes. So great to see an active audience. And it was neat to see the admin choices. Congratulations to that. And that they came with their own fan club. That's fantastic. We know they're off to a great start. And like Lexi said, they're following some great footsteps. So it's neat to see the history in our district. And of course, the great kid programs that we saw coming up here. And it's neat to see the focus on attendance. It's really neat to see that we're having growth on that and that we're addressing that as, it is obviously impacts us and the charter schools, impacts all of California, but glad we're making good progress on that. And yeah, that's all. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Okay. You want to say something else? Go ahead.
Yes, I do. I wanted to congratulate Fulton Wellsbury for their 6th consecutive year of being in Antelope Valley's best public school. Congratulations.
Triple threat. Nice. Good job. Okay. Dr. Marietti.
Thank you. So I just want to just acknowledge the wonderful crowd we had here this evening. It really showed, Mr. Wynn talked about Lancaster and the amazing people and the support we have here. And I think seeing all those people in the crowd supporting each other just shows, just confirms that we are a big family here and we support each other. And I'm just really excited about the people that are stepping into these roles, although no one's going to replace the people that have been there before, but they will follow in their footsteps. I'm also excited about the 8% increase in attendance rate, and I want to acknowledge New Vista and Sierra Elementary for their hard work on their attendance. I also want to acknowledge Fulton Wellsbury for their project Lead the Way, Distinguished School. There's so much wonderful things going on here in Lancaster School District. It's hard to just kind of nail down one or two, but there's all sorts of things going on continuously every day. The last thing I want to say is I just want to acknowledge the Day of the Teacher and the Day of the Nurse that's coming up on May 10th, and also look forward to our Staff Appreciation Week next week. Thank you.
Thank you. I did got a newsletter from Monte Vista, suggesting things to do for the week of the teacher, and one of them was smile at your teacher and bring her a flower, either you draw it. I thought it was very cute. I'm gonna take it to heart, but it looked really cute. So congratulations for our teachers and during their day. I guess, is it the week of the teacher, day of the teacher?
It's Day of the Teacher on May 10th. It's both for our classified and certificated appreciation week. It's different in California than in the nation, so we're going to recognize them next week.
Very good. Okay, well, that's great. And again, thanks to our award winners and to I really appreciated West Wynn's presentation. Congratulations to all our new promotees, and thanks you for our speakers, Nina and Betsy. I thank you guys for bringing those things to our attention. And definitely take care of the 20th and J thing. I have a daughter that works that time. I can have her park her little car there, and she doesn't play. She will take care of that. But she also likes kids, so it's a good scenario. Hopefully we'll be able to look over Nina's stuff and help her out. And I appreciate you guys for the meeting, and we will go ahead and look for an adjournment. Anybody want to make a motion? Moved by Mr. Wynn, Pamela, did you make that second? Man, Pamela, you are just out of my earshot. So second by Pamela. All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes 5-0, and we adjourn at 8 o'clock. Yeah. Thank you.